Hey Andrew, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your dress position, let's first of all just take a look at your posture. We can see here that your spine is relatively straight and on a tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So pretty good posture here in association with good balance. Let's now go ahead and observe your alignment. Now your feet are extremely closed. We carry that out towards the vicinity of the target or the direction of where we're supposed to be going. And theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. And still under that scenario, we can see that we're set up way, way, way out to the right there, okay? Center of the fairway is back over here behind your forearms. So there's going to be many, many compensations that you're going to create. The first is, obviously, you're not going to set up your club face square to your feet because your subconscious brain knows you have to hit the ball to the red. So what do? Well, you close your club face. And that's one of the things when you're on the golf course. What I tried to do, actually I'll talk about this a little bit later on. So, your club face is definitely closed here. Sorry, let me get rid of the arrow. Your club face is definitely shut aggressively, and you're trying to get that leading edge somewhat facing back over to the center of the fairway. Okay. The other thing we're going to see here is you're going to have to come massively over the top, swing the golf club from out to in to try and pull the ball back to red. So let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. I've got some color-coded lines on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. So very clearly put, you can see Jordan Spieth is way more square to his target, right? I mean, his feet are running here in this direction. Parallel lines on camera have an appearance to converge. He's set up right to hit the ball right over the corner of that fairway because it drops down to the right, little dog leg to the right, okay? His knees, his hips, his forearms, and his shoulders are all running parallel to his feet and to his target line. Okay? So from here, let's just understand what the golf swing is supposed to do if we're going to hit a ball straight. Well, we want to bring the club back on plane, so we rotate our shoulders, we bring our arms and hands back as well as the club, and we want the club coming back on plane directly along the red line, exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. Next thing we want to do is make sure we achieve good wrist hinge into play. So right now the club head is below and in front of our hands. We have to transition that club head above and behind the hands. Very, very important move early in the golf swing. From here, we work the club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we either want to have the left arm in the club on the yellow line, anywhere between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically on blue. We want full shoulder rotation. We want to do this about a very stable right leg. Okay? So let's watch your golf swing. Because you're set up very closed, your golf club's going to go way underneath the plane. So your club's going to move underneath the red line, which it does right there. But you're moving the club back nice. I mean, your hands are coming back nice. You're turning your shoulders. The reality is it's coming back on a decent plane relative to where you're aimed, which is way right. It's just not coming back on a good plane based on the center of the fairway. So let's keep on going back here. Hopefully we get some wrist hinge into play, which we do. If we are looking at you from the direction of where you're aimed, the club head is getting above and behind your hands. You're a little stiff-wristed with the golf club, but at the end of the day, it is getting a little bit above and behind your hands, and you're creating a little bit of wrist hinge. From here, you start to work the club a little bit more vertically up, and when you finally get set, we can see that you're set up a little bit too steep. And what does that mean? Well, your left arm's above the blue line. Amateur players actually prefer their left arm down on yellow because then it's easier to return the club back onto plane, that being the red line. When we're steep, we're going to come over the top. Well, hence, right from the get-go, I said, well, not only are we closing the club face at address to compensate to hit the ball back to the center of the fairway, but we're going to come over the top to try and pull the ball back to the center of the fairway. So on the left side of the screen, based on correct alignment, correct fundamentals, and a correct geometric golf swing, what's supposed to happen? Well, we're supposed to take our weight from our right foot, drive it to the left, fire the knees and the hips laterally to the target, unwind the core, and fire the hands. And in doing so, we want to bring the club from the blue-yellow V zone, wherever we set it, and bring the golf club back down onto red. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. the golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing I want to look at here is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. This simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, aside from the fact that he's going to hit the ball straight because the club has returned back to plane, which is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. I also want to point out one other thing. If I go back down to address, I'd stated that creating wrist hinge is very critical to the golf swing, getting that club head from currently below and in front of our hands to above and behind. Well, you notice when he gets that wrist hinge and the club above and behind, look at, we're in the exact same position. So now we just go up to our blue-yellow V zone, we return the club back down to red, and right into that backwards check mark. So this is what's going to allow him to hit powerful and straight golf shots in accordance to wherever he's aimed. So with you, we're going to watch you come way over the top. Your hands are going to travel out away from blue because you have a lot of work to do to get this ball back to the center of the fairway. Wow, I'm actually surprised right there. You came over the top and now you're hanging on. That's a good job right there. So the nice thing is, let me go one more frame maybe? No. So the nice thing is we're retaining angle, right? We've got your lead form and we've got your golf club. Club heads where? Above and behind your hands. You're retaining angle. So creating power in your golf swing won't be that much of an issue. Only problem is the club's not returned back to plane. So you're not going to hit the ball straight. So we go to the next frame. Club's going to fall out in front of your hands. Actually, I want to mark where that club was originally. Sorry, let me come down a frame here. There we go. And I don't want an arrow, so let me clear that off. Okay, so let's go to the next frame. Club's going to fall out in front of your hands now. There we go. Go next frame. You're going to be stuck outside the golf ball. There we go. So if we just connect the dots here, we have a pretty good visual sense as to what the descending plane looks like. It's coming into the ball too steep. It's coming in from over the top. It's attacking the ball from outside. And it has to because we have to pull the ball back to the left. So very clearly we can see your club is not returning back to plane, because if it did, you'd hit the ball way out to the right in accordance to your alignment. Just like I stipulated with Jordan Spieth here, if he wants to hit the ball straight, the club has to come into the ball from on plane, and it is. So he's going to hit the ball straight based on his alignment, which is correct as long as his club face squares up, which it's going to because he has a good grip. So in your case, what we can see here is, seeing that the downswing planes were vastly different, let's take a look at the path. Well, here's his club inside the ball, expanding out to make contact, moving through on a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is outside the ball. Watch how aggressive this drops down and across now to try and pull the ball left. So there it goes. Okay? So very simply put, if you square the club face up to this path, the great thing is, guess what? Yeah, we can pull the ball back to the center of the fairway. So there's your compensation. You're trying to pull the ball back to the center of the fairway. Also, the club face is a bit closed. It should help that to happen. But, I mean, at this point in time, you know, what if the club face over releases a little? Where's the ball going to go? Not only are you going to pull the ball, but you're going to hit some form of a pull draw or a pull hook. Well, if you leave the club face a little open to this path, what's going to happen now? Yeah, well, now the ball is going to go too far right. So it takes a lot of timing on your part to pull that ball directly back to the blue flag without imparting too much right to left spin or left to right spin on the ball. Very, very hard to do. The other thing too is, because the club face was closed and we're swinging left, you're de-lofting the club, we're going to get a very low launch angle. So at this point in time, what we can see here is the ball is leaving in that direction. Let's see if we can, and it's continuing, so it continued through here. At this point in time, I don't know what your club face did, so if it did square up, it's going way too far left. If it over-released, it's going further left, and if it stayed a little bit open, it can come back towards the target. If it stayed too open, again, it'll fall green. So that's where I'm saying, like, consistency is just not possible, because there's three things we need. We need to aim well, we need to bring the club down on plane, and we need to square the face up. And we're not doing any three of those criteria, unfortunately. So that's why when we were on the golf course, I think I gave you an opportunity. I just wanted to quickly sort of get you to, you know, pull your right foot up so your feet are running parallel to where you want to go. I also tried to get your ball position, because right now your ball is way far back considering where we want to go. I tried to get your ball forward in your stance. At that point in time, I then tried to rest the club on the ground correctly so that the back sole of the club was on the ground, getting the loft back. Right now you've got the club face closed, so you're de-lofting the club. So by placing the ball more forward and resting your club on its back sole, I added loft. So the great thing is I had you aiming, let me clear that off the screen, I had you now aiming way more left. I had the ball considerably more forward in your stance, inside your left heel. I now got the club resting on its back sole and I put it in its natural engineered state and I said, just let it go. And what happened? Well, you increased your launch angle by, I'm going to say it was at least quadruple. Okay? Now, because the club face wasn't massively closed, you ended up losing the ball a little over in this direction, but it left at quadruple launch angle. It went way further. It was a much better ball flight instantly. And that's with no practice. Okay? So the only difference is that instead of the ball going way low and left, it went high and you lost it a little bit right. Well, you lost it a little bit right because you just weren't accustomed to the club being resting in its natural state and the club face being, I don't even know how many degrees more open. I mean, from where you have it. It had to have been at least another, I'm going to say 40 degrees more open, 30 degrees more open. So yeah, it's to be anticipated that you might lose the ball a little right. But the great thing was the trajectory of the ball flight was so much better. Get on the range, start practicing that. You'll learn how to time the club face up and hit it straighter. So it's just way less work than what we're seeing that you have to do right now. You're having to create a lot of over the top here and a lot of timing with the club face, and it's just too difficult to do. So anyways, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. If you ever want to continue working on some of those things that I talked about in the video and that I quickly did for you on the golf course that really improved the ball flight. And yeah, be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day. Hope you enjoyed getting a chance to see your swing on video, and hopefully you can proceed to implement a few things here and hopefully become a little bit more consistent with your ball striking. Okay? Take care.